my God. Hi. Hello and welcome to the Finding You podcast. This is so exciting. Welcome listeners, watchers. Well, watchers sounds really creepy, but YouTube watchers, if you're watching this on YouTube, that sounds better. But welcome to the Finding You podcast. I am Franeiss, your host, if you don't know me. And wow, this is incredible. I'm like so giddy to be doing this. I have just created this podcast purely from passion and love. And so this first episode, I'm just going to give you a bit of a rundown of who I am, why I'm here. And if you have looked at the podcast webpage, you would have already known a little bit about why I've created this podcast and a little bit about my journey thus far. But if you haven't and you're listening here, welcome. Let's get straight into it. So, like I said, my name is Franeiss, and this podcast has come about from a really deep-seated passion and curiosity. So, but also off the back end of really struggling with my own physical and mental health over years. And that's not an exaggeration. I really struggled with my health out of the blue for years. So I was a very healthy child. There wasn't really much wrong with me. That sounds bad, but I wouldn't really get sick very often or anything like that. But so from about my late teens to early 20s, I just randomly could not keep up with everyone else. I was sick all the time. Like there was a period where I was genuinely getting bedridden sick every 2 weeks. And I really struggled with finding my place in the world because my body started to fail me from the amount of emotional baggage that I was carrying. And I had no idea. So I was looking to Western medicine, like, help me. And no one could. Everyone had question marks. I was just diagnosed with chronic fatigue and told, hey, you're going to have to deal with this and manage this for the rest of your life. So that's all we got for you. And I was like, that's it? I'm getting sick all the time and I have to manage this? No, there has to be another way. And so I really took my health and life into my own hands and was determined. I was like, there is no way that this is how I'm going to have to live my life for the rest of my life. So I delved into my health and my fitness. I took all the supplements. I went plant-based or vegetarian at the time, and I was doing really well for some time until I kept hitting walls. And emotional walls and mental walls, and I couldn't figure out why. I'd fixed the body. I'm doing everything right. I was lost and confused. I couldn't understand why is my body should be fine. So I've been feeding it good stuff. So why isn't my mental checking in? And so now in hindsight, I look back and I realize how much emotional baggage and trauma I was carrying. And I was seeing a psychologist. They were really lovely and it was great for a couple sessions, but I really wasn't getting the transformations I was wanting. And I continued to repeat these patterns. And now I should mention and note as a disclaimer, of course, use your own discernment, seek out medical advice if needed. This is not medical advice. It is simply just my story. So I went to a psychologist. It was draining my bank account and it didn't feel like it was doing anything. So I was at my wit's end and literally on the verge of disappearing into the woods because I was so done with my own BS and I couldn't handle the world around me as well. I was genuinely waking up every single morning with a knot in my stomach or waking up with a panic attack because I was just lost. That was it. I was completely lost and carrying so much trauma. So when I came to my wit's end, I was offered this thing called the spiral, and I will delve into my spiral journey and all about it in my next solo episode. But for now, I'm just going to leave you with the note of I went through the spiral. And so it's a 2-month process, and I look back and oh my God, I cleared so much so much emotional baggage. And so to really delve into that, we don't realize our patterns and our blocks. It's very hard to see them when we're under so much emotional baggage. So our subconscious rules 95% of our day. And so what the subconscious does is takes in all the information of the day, and it will generalize, distort, and or keep if needed, or alert us. So whilst we're in our subconscious mind and we're thinking we're in control, we will react to things without thinking, and then we'll I noticed that we'll beat ourselves up over the fact that we reacted that way, when in fact it was because we've got like generational patterns, societal conditioning, all this stuff that has been jam-packed into our subconscious for us to act a certain way for our own safety. So our subconscious does this from a point of wanting to keep us safe. But in fact, it can be more damaging than good sometimes if our subconscious is ruling and keeps bringing up the same patterns and blocks and stops us from doing the things that we want to, or stops us from being the person we want to be. So when you release all this trauma and these emotional blockages from our system and rewire our brains to react differently, or to bring us back into control, or even to just neutralize us so that we don't have a specific reaction to everything that we go through or that we do, we can really start to find ourselves and really become our true form. So that is why I've created this podcast to really share my story, knowledge, and skills on the topic of self-discovery and healing, but also to invite guests to share their knowledge and skills, because there are so many different amazing guests with so much knowledge and tools that they share and offer with the world. And so I really wanted to bring alternative medicine and alternative healing into the mainstream and into the limelight, because I really believe that people need to know that there is more than one solution to their problems. I think that instead of just always turning to Western medicine, we should be looking to alternative ways as well, because they're so beneficial and potent. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know about these sort of healings and medicines and alternative ways, you could say. So I created this podcast to really create a community based on that and bring all these tools to the limelight so that people can discover themselves, people can heal, people can better their overall well-being, because we need to be looking at the whole person, not just the physical body and not just the mental. And we shouldn't be looking at them as two separate entities, because they're intermixed. One intermixes with the other. Your brain sends signals to the body sends signals to the brain. They are connected, but we treat them so differently. So that is why I've created this, to really support people in finding themselves and finding their own way. And not only that, to finding their purpose, because I know without my purpose, I was extremely lost. Without the knowledge I have now, I was extremely lost. So knowing all this stuff has made me more empowered to realize my purpose and my path. Once you sort out the physical and understand the mental and all of our body is connected, it really transforms our journey and makes us better for it. So I think that's all I'm going to discuss for today. I'm going to leave you on that note, just one small little snippet. And I just really want to get you thinking about how your mind and your body interact and how you treat the both of them. And one more thing, if you can catch yourself in one or two patterns, your pattern might be something as simple as, I get to 70% of a project or doing something, and then self-doubt creeps in and I stop, because that's my point. That's at my give up point. And everyone has a give up point. So look for a pattern and look at what's something that keeps happening to me. And it feels out of my control, but it just always keeps happening. I keep attracting this same person. I keep not enjoying my life. Whatever the pattern may be, look to it, because simply taking note of your life and then starting to want to change and thinking about wanting to change is the very first step to changing. And that is so perfect and potent and my goal. I want everyone to be their best selves, and I want everyone to achieve their goals and win, because we can all win. And I really want to support everyone in becoming their best selves and enjoying their life, because that's where the good stuff is. And I really want to say thank you so much for listening to this very first podcast. I hope you enjoy the series. I have so many amazing guests jumping on in the next few episodes. So please stay tuned and stay updated. I've got the links down below if you want to check out podcast webpage. I've got my Instagram, my YouTube page. Go check them out.